Obviously my mom, my sisters, my grandmothers, my aunts, they've all shown me love as a black man and as just a black person in general. But like the women I dealt with, like in school and even in like the dating world, ain't want nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with me, disrespecting me, calling me a coon, a house nigga, calling me an Oreo cookie, telling me that I'm not a real black person and shit like that.
I'm sorry.
Telling me that I don't count and shit.
And we are live.
And we're back.
Back at the podcast. You know what's going on. This was the cameraman in the building, Randall in the building. And it's the Unpopular podcast. Today is Friday the 13th.
And tomorrow is Valentine's Day, shockingly enough.
Nothing goes better than bad luck and love.
What the
Nothing
fuck?
goes better together than bad luck and love.
What the fuck? What does that mean?
It means what? Nothing goes better than bad luck. Oh, we also got Lami G in the building on the right hand side. You know what's going on. Yeah, nothing goes better than bad luck and love. That is a good song title.
No, dude, deadass, make a song about that.
Bad luck and love.
Why?
Because it's Valentine's Day about to pass. It ain't gonna be.
There's a thing called next year. What?
Yeah, we'll get it ready for next year.
Like what kind of statement is that?
Bad luck and love. I like that.
You can make a song about that.
Ain't nothing better
Yeah,
than
like you
bad
do it next
luck
year.
and love.
It ain't gotta be about this year.
But yeah, bad luck.
Who's to say it's gotta be on that day anyway? You could do it in the summertime. Who says it has to be?
I feel what you're saying.
Who says it has to be specifically on Valentine's Day during this time frame?
Right. It's always could be another Friday the 13th.
That's very true.
Yeah, that is.
Love is all the time. Love is all the time.
Love is confusing though.
February 13th. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day. Happy Black History Month to everybody. You know what's going on. Shout out my brothers and sisters holding it down for everybody.
You know some bullshit? We have Black History Month this holiday, but it's also the shortest month out of the year.
Yeah.
Ain't that some bullshit?
Always is.
Well, obviously, but like it's like ironic how like they did that purposely.
Oh no, they absolutely 100% did that shit purposely. Word is born.
Like we'll give you niggas a fucking holiday, but or a holiday month, but it's gonna be the shortest month out of the year.
Hey man,
like the fuck.
Black Lives Matter isn't only just for February, so
and Black History is not just about this month.
I mean, I'm gonna be black all year round.
Black history is American history.
That's damn right. You damn sure right. It is.
People don't want to believe that shit, but it's like.
I feel like we said that in the last
because you white, because you European motherfuckers brought us here anyway. We want to be over here.
I was just talking yesterday about how Christopher Columbus never set foot in America too.
Well, I mean, like in America, not technically he did, because technically, like this part of the world is America.
He never set foot in the America that we
United States.
Yes. No, he
never set foot in the United States. Just say it like that. He stepped foot in the Americas and like the Caribbeans and the South America.
Yeah, but mind you, this nigga thought he was getting to India.
Right.
This nigga thought he was getting to India. He thought.
But like,
I was watching this.
Whatever map that he had, like it was probably on the opposite side anyway.
No, this nigga was just dumb and thought he was discovering something. Word is born, and he was so wrong. And this how you. That's the kind of confidence that people need to aspire to.
No.
The fact that he was so wrong, thinking he can go the wrong way around the earth to get to India, got somewhere else, still claimed he was in India, telling the people who he met there, nah, y'all Indians. Y'all just on the west side. And then you get a whole holiday named after you for bullshit. That's the kind of confidence people need.
I mean, that
gets you a whole holiday.
That holiday's been canceled for a while now, so like.
Yeah, but I don't agree with the term Indigenous Peoples Day either.
It's a stupid day.
It's not very. It's not
a
specific.
stupid holiday.
It's not specific. I mean, that's what they replaced Columbus Day with.
Yeah.
But it's not specific.
It's a stupid thing to do. It's so fucking cheap. I don't like the replacing of things where like people are like, oh, we're gonna replace it with an alternative. Why don't just make a different day out of it? You know what I'm saying? Like, this even goes back to like a controversial opinion I had years ago. So, do y'all remember when Disney made the live action version of The Little Mermaid?
Yes.
And they did Halle Berry as Ariel.
Halle Berry.
I'm not against that, and I have no problem with that movie inherently. But one of the reasons why I'm not a huge fan of it is because of the cheapness of like black inclusion by just making Ariel black.
I can understand
that's the only
that.
thing that bothered me.
I can understand that. I don't know if they did that because of that, though. I don't think they did it because of it. I think they only did that because Halle Bailey is a really good singer.
Well, and I can understand that as well, but at the same time, it's like I still don't like to me, it's very cheap.
No, they do that in a lot of other media projects.
I
They
would have
do
much
include
rather them actually
black
spend like
people
time and money
for
making
just the inclusivity part of it.
yeah, but like I would rather them have to spend more time and money just making a whole new version of the Little Mermaid. Like, can you imagine like before they broke up? Could you imagine like if the Migos were in that movie and they were like fucking like three crabs like rapping and shit? That would have been fun.
Yeah, but that I don't know if I would like that.
Why?
I feel like that's inherently ignorant.
How is that ignorant? It's just a black version of the Little Mermaid. What's so wrong about that?
But now we're making a we're making a version of the Little Mermaid that's specifically targeted towards black people.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with making a movie that's
Mermaids are fictional creatures. They don't have fucking races.
Exactly
trying to make a movie tailored to a specific race is defeating the purpose when the movie is for kids. The movie's for all kids.
Yeah, but the problem
pertaining
is,
it to a specific race is missing the entire point of the movie.
The problem is, Davian, when there is a specific looking race of people that are specifically portraying the fictional characters of mermaids.
So that means we have to have black connotations throughout the whole movie now?
What's wrong with that?
Because now you're making it a black movie.
What is wrong with that?
Now you're making it specifically a black movie.
What's wrong with that? I'm going to keep asking you.
Because black people don't just make black movies.
Davian. My nigga, did you not just take me?
Black people don't just star in black movies.
I understand that, Davian, but like
I'm saying we should not be limiting our talents and our things to just things to be labeled as black.
Davian, I hear what you're saying, but at the same time, I still don't see anything wrong with it, Davian. We literally went to go see the movie Sinners, which is a predominantly black film, right?
Sure, yeah.
Black Panther is a predominantly black film, right?
Yeah.
What other? There's literally a TV show, Blackish, or what's the other one? Or like
Mixedish or whatever.
Mixedish
I don't know.
or whatever.
Yeah, there's a bunch of these.
Like, these are movies and TV shows that are made specifically for black people.
I understand. I don't disagree with those. There are things that are made for black people, made to enjoy. I'm saying this is a Disney movie. It's made to be very general. So if we sit here and took this concept and made it into a black movie, that's taking away from the whole Disney concept.
But there's still the
just because we have a black Ariel, now we need to have Migos crabs.
What? That's just an idea.
That's
okay?
nigga shit. I ain't even go hold.
No,
that's
not.
nigga shit.
That's just an idea I had. Okay, it was just an idea I had. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with the whole concept of like the fucking Disney princesses. There was no black Disney princess until the Princess and the Frog.
And look how they did her story.
What's so wrong with that? It's pretty like I'm not saying that we need to necessarily demonstrate black people in seeing and being stereotypical in like negative ways, but David, part of it is also showing black people that are from those environments like representation.
I understand that, but we also don't want to be represented as something that's separate from the rest of humans. We want to feel inclusive. We want to feel included in the stuff that we watch. And we want to be represented in the stuff that we watch. But we also don't want to feel like we're separating ourselves from an entire genre.
Yeah, I hear you, Davian. I hear you entirely. But like at the same time, there are white films that portray,
or like we're regulating ourselves to only doing a specific kind of genre.
I hear you, but there's also films and TV shows and whatever that portray white people in all different walks of life. Everything from like rich, affluent white people all the way down to like the country country bums and shit like that. So like it's on both sides. So it exists. There are affluent, wealthy black families and people that are from these suburban neighborhoods, but there's also another side of it that are from these impoverished, urban inner city areas. So they can deserve and get recognition as well because they're from that community. Imagine we just made black films that only portrayed just like suburban living black families when a lot of black communities are still living in these urban, inner city areas.
Nah, but there's a genre of movies that do that already.
Right.
Those are hood classics. Talking about like Boys in the Hood, Friday, Juice.
All right, I hear what you're saying.
There's a genre of there's a section of movies that do represent people. Even if you go on like Tubi nowadays, or not to the extent of Tyler Perry films or shows, because Tyler Perry shows a different demographic of black people.
Okay, so what does that mean? Because all I know Tyler Perry for is Medea.
Okay, well, Tyler Perry has a lot of new shows out nowadays and a lot of different movies.
Right.
Most of these projects centered around more wealthy, business centered black people,
Right.
upper class, living in the mansions and higher status
Right.
black people. Most of those that's been the majority of Tyler Perry's projects, leading away from the more Medea based stuff.
Right.
I'll say that. So it's showing a different demographic of black people, which is good because we need all the representation we can get.
There was apparently like a controversy, like I don't know how many years ago this was, where like apparently like with the cross dressing like with Tyler Perry and doing the Medea character and like showcasing a black man in a dress, it apparently was based on trying to feminize black men and trying to like basically portray them as being ultra feminine and gay and shit like that, where it's like even
it goes deeper.
Even Cat Williams on a podcast even said that like
I've seen what Cat Williams has said.
His way of like trying to feminize the black men. Do you guys agree with that or no?
It's less of a way of trying to feminize the black man and more of like it's what do they call it? They used to have a term for it back in the day.
Emasculating?
No, it's like back breaking or like
buck breaking.
Buck breaking, yes, yeah, that exact term.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I know that term.
So basically, when it comes in terms of like seeing people in the media wear dresses and stuff like that.
Well, buck breaking goes back to slavery, though.
No, I understand that. I understand that.
Yeah.
And then, but in the way it's held in the media, them being able to put you in a dress or dress you up like a lady is basically saying that they can make you do whatever you want. You sold your soul. Now
Right.
you can but there's a bunch of different examples of people who have done this. Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence, Kevin Hart.
But aren't there movies and TV shows with white guys doing it?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
So then why is it always targeting like?
Yeah, Mr. Doubtfire, absolutely.
So no. So my question is then why is it always the conspiracy is circulating around black men only specifically? So when a black man does it, it's buck breaking. When a white guy does it, it's just a cornball.
We're always the topic of the conversation, and they'll do anything
to make us look bad.
Absolutely.
But again, it's like, but that's just also the racist double standard that we live in.
It only helps to keep us down, to keep the way that we view ourselves down, and the way that our women look at us in return.
Right.
It's all to diminish our image. It's all to diminish our image.
And I mean that's a true statement. And at the same time, one of the things about this, because now you just mentioned black women, how they look at us. Do you guys feel, to some extent in this country, that I mean, yes, like it's pretty known that there is like kind of like a divide between black men and black women in this country, where it's like black women in America seem to be like very like antagonistic against us for like no reason, where like they see us as like an enemy for some reason, despite, speaking of which, like statistically black women are the most racially loyal women in the country, meaning that they almost exclusively only date their own race. Black women in America almost never date outside their race, versus women of other races tend to date outside their races. They're the most loyal to us, but there's this sort of like stigma where black women tend to be like very confrontational towards us and even the men that they're dating or in a relationship with for like no reason. It's almost like a projection of like frustration from like their histories past or whatever shit.
The divide between black men and black women has been going on a long time, since crack. What I will say is that black women are probably the most I want to say like not necessarily like targeted, but like they're the most unprotected demographic.
Right.
And black men are probably the most targeted demographic.
Right.
Yes. So we're both always in this sense of vulnerability, feeling like we're always being threatened against and
or disregarded.
Right. And we need to learn how to come together to work together, because creating the divide is not doing anything good for us.
Right, because that's one of the more controversial things that I've said before, where it's like, and I don't mean this in any way to speak negatively about black women because I was raised by them.
Mm.
In my personal experience, the women who have only ever been like, I don't even want to say it like this, like, but I'm just gonna say it anyway, who have been for the most part disrespectful to me in like the worst way, have unfortunately been black women outside of my own family.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously my mom, my sisters, my grandmothers, my aunts, they've all shown me love as a black man and as a white person in general. But like the women I dealt with like in school and even in like the dating world ain't want nothing to do with me.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing to do with me, disrespecting me, calling me a coon, a house nigga, calling me an Oreo cookie, telling me that I'm not a real black person and shit like that.
I'm sorry.
Telling me that I don't count and shit.
Going back to the buck breaking or whatever, and the separation since crack, the loss, the absence of fathers in the home has really had an effect on the way that we're seen by black women, and the divide is created by a lack of respect for one another.
And I will say this: I hear what you're saying, the absence of black fathers in general. But the thing I want to point out is that I don't necessarily believe that it is inherently like just fathers simply not being in the home. Because I was reading a book recently that talks about like what really fucks kids up in terms of like their upbringing, and it isn't inherently divorce or just like a father not actually being in the picture. It's they found in the study that it's parental conflict and parents that hate each other and are at war with each other that actually fucks kids up worse than anything else.
Absolutely.
It's not literally like, because like a father not being in the home, that could be unfortunately a product of a father dying, right? Or getting killed somewhere.
Sure.
That can happen. So to say that a black child or even a child in general is going to grow up in a fucked up situation because there's no father in the picture objectively is a very misleading thing to say.
Absolutely.
It's realistically, from what I've seen, especially of black children that have divorced parents, what I've learned from them is that it's a war zone. Like the picking up and dropping off, the child exchanges, and like even being in family pictures and like trying to talk to each other while they're still separated. It's like a battleground.
I've seen this dude,
and these kids are dealing with their parents like looking at each other with murder in their eyes, even though they're separated.
I've seen this dude on social media talking about this dude on social media was talking about I think he was in some street interview or whatever, but I think he was talking about raising his kids or whatever, but he was making some point about single moms raising kids who are statistically more likely to end up in the NBA or something like that. And I was like, this nigga's crazy.
Well, that seems a little bit racist.
It just, you know what I mean? Those things don't correlate. Just because a kid doesn't have his father in the house, he's gonna work harder to get to the NBA?
Well, here's the thing. I think the reason why you said that is because that's usually the story that they portray. The media portrays stories like that, where usually black men that are these high performing athletes, they usually will target the ones that were not raised without fathers.
Yeah, he was saying something
they're
about like
portray an image.
Guys in the NBA who have two parent households are normally not as good as guys who come from single mother households. And I was like,
because it's because of the stereotype that like black men that are raised by single mothers typically end up adopting the role of the father in the house, especially if they have younger siblings, where the mom looks at him almost like a backup husband, where it's like, you're going to take care of these kids, and that will supposedly motivate him to become this ultimate breadwinner, where he's going to make it into the NFL or NBA, or even become famous, and then the whole family is fed and completely taken care of. That's where it usually comes from. And that's very true. Black women in this country who don't have supportive partners, whether they're in or out of the house in general, they will unfortunately look at their eldest males as potentially as a backup husband, and they'll appoint you to be, the backup parent.
Yeah, this has come with a lot of resentment and disrespect towards black men coming from black women. I do want to just throw this unpopular opinion out there. It kind of relates to what we were talking about, but I just want to say this out loud. with giving respect to the work that black women do, especially black single mothers, you do a great job, but you cannot do a father's job.
Damien, that shouldn't even be controversial to say. It's just controversial now because we leave it.
It's not controversial. It's not really unpopular, but it's something
It's
that
emotionally
it's something
charging.
that it's emotionally charging. It's something that's always going to that's going to charge feedback and a response to
Yeah,
it.
because
And
because
that's
because,
just,
because unfortunately
yeah.
they're in a mindset where
But
it's
I just
like,
wanted to say that.
no, but like they're in a mindset where they feel like they have to do everything by themselves. And by the way, it's also not just black women that are literally single by themselves. It's also, this is where the controversy and the conflict between males and females in relationships come into play, where a lot of women feel alone in their relationships while there's still a man on the couch. So a lot of women will file for divorce, for example, because of an unsupported partner. But the difference, and the reason why is because there's a difference between a father, for example, being in the picture and a father being involved in the picture. Those are two different things. A father could be in the house but just be sitting on the couch all day, not really doing anything and not being productive. And women can feel obviously neglected because of that, because there's no support system in the actual house. Whereas a father that's involved in the house, especially if both parties are working, if a mom is working 40 hours a week and so is a husband, there has to be an equal divide of housework in the home. And usually what happens is the mother will pick up the majority of the unpaid and unrecognized labor in the house, while the husband works 40 hours a week and just sits on the couch not doing anything. And that is a big factor in why women file for divorce. It's not just because women are these evil creatures that want to just, cash in their chips when they get married and then get divorced a year later to, like, end up wealthy or whatever the fuck.
Well, there are some who do that.
Yeah, no, obviously. But it's more of the instance of, like, they just don't feel supported in their relationships because usually fathers just don't pay attention to things that's happening in the house.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's definitely true.
So that's where the issue is. And
I think I wanted to make another comment about almost like this hypocrisy or double standard that exists, because like women will always feel the need, well I'll say single mothers will always find a way to claim that they're doing both jobs or whatever. But a man will never sit there and do that. A man will never sit here and take the credit for what a woman does.
So, like, are you saying it in the way of, like, so if
knowing that a man can't do what a mother can do, he would never take that credit away from somebody who can.
Right.
But
right.
women will always take credit for, oh, I'm doing both jobs. I'm doing the mom and the dad.
Let's go into a controversial conversation right now where let's see if we can try to define specifically what a mother and a father's job is in a family unit. Because there seems to be a very big divide when it comes to just, like, saying, like, when it comes to describing what is quote unquote a mother's or a woman's job in a family versus a father's job in a family.
I don't know
let's
how
actually define what it is.
I don't know how I think there are things that are very particular to just being parents that don't have to do with your gender at all. I think there are certain things that specific genders are more suited for, especially when children are coming more into themselves in times of puberty.
And that's my whole point. But that's why I'm asking you, because you did say that, like, a woman can't do a man's job, right, in a relationship. So what is that specifically? Give me a list of things that are supposedly assigned to just a man, and saying that is a man's job in a family unit, and then even raising kids as well. What's the list of things that fathers do specifically that a mother or a woman supposedly cannot do? Because this is where nobody wants to define anything. So let's get into that.
It's a way of being, not necessarily job to do. It's a certain way of being. A man can't tell a man how to be. Or a man can't tell a woman how to be. It's more so of that. It's not a job. Like, you can't, you want to put it in job form. You can't tell how do you put it? You can't tell a mother how to raise her kids.
Might go over there.
You can't. You feel me? You can't tell a mother how to raise her kids. Don't matter if you with John or not. You're not gonna be able to tell her how to raise her kids.
Right.
Raise her kids, no matter if they're your kids either. Y'all might have to figure out a way to do it together, but you're still not gonna be able to tell her how to raise her kids. You feel what I'm saying?
Well, at the same time, you still have to kind of figure out, like, for example, like, um, like patterns of behavior when it comes to like dealing with your kids in like tough situations. If your kids are, for example, being stubborn, like, how do you deal with conflict when it comes to your kids? When your kids being like,
I
difficult to deal
I
with,
won't.
how do you actually discipline them?
I think my bad to cut you off, but I think maybe it's less of like roles designated to each person and like things that have to be established in a household or in a family's dynamic in order for things to move properly.